If you're over 50 and still using the same hair oils you trusted for decades, you need to hear this today. What worked beautifully in your 40s and 50s can actually trigger the exact opposite effect on mature scalps. And US dermatologists are seeing this pattern repeatedly in their clinics across America and Europe. This isn't about typical aging hair thinness. This is about 5 specific oils that doctors here in the United States watch closely because they're connected to a type of scalp inflammation that accelerates hair loss in women over 50. I'm going to walk you through each one, and more importantly, I'll share what leading medical researchers recommend instead. But here's what matters. If you stay until the end, you'll discover the #1 oil mistake that almost nobody talks about, yet it's the most damaging of all. Please hit that like button right now, drop a comment telling us your age so we can build this community of women supporting each other, and let's get started because your hair deserves better. Before we dive into the first oil that's causing problems for aging scalps, I want you to understand something important that US doctors have observed over the past decade. Your scalp at 50 is fundamentally different from your scalp at 50. The sebaceous glands that produce natural oils slow down dramatically. The skin becomes thinner and more sensitive, and the hair follicles themselves become smaller and more vulnerable. This isn't just aging, this is a complete biological shift, and what your scalp needs changes entirely. That's why oils that once gave you shine and strength can now clog your pores, trigger inflammation, and actually suffocate the very follicles you're trying to protect. The first oil that's causing serious trouble for women over 50, especially here in the United States, is coconut oil. Now, I know this might surprise you because coconut oil has been praised everywhere for years. It's been called a miracle oil, a natural remedy, something pure and safe. But here's what dermatologists in America are seeing in their examination rooms. When women over 50 use coconut oil regularly on their scalps, a significant number develop what's called follicular occlusion. That's a fancy term for blocked hair follicles. Coconut oil has large molecules, much larger than other oils, and on a mature scalp, where the pores are already smaller and the natural oil production has decreased, these molecules sit on top of the skin like a heavy blanket. They don't absorb well. Instead, they create a barrier that traps dead skin cells, bacteria, and debris right at the opening of each follicle. Over time, this leads to inflammation, itching, and eventually the hair follicle becomes so irritated that it simply stops producing healthy hair. The hair that does grow becomes thinner, weaker, and breaks easily. US dermatologists often see women come in confused because they've been using coconut oil for moisture, thinking they're doing something good, but their hair is falling out more than ever. Research conducted at the University of California has shown that coconut oil, while excellent for certain skin types and younger individuals, can be problematic for aging scalps due to its comedogenic nature, meaning it tends to clog pores. So what's the fix? If you love the idea of natural oils, switch to argan oil or grapeseed oil instead. These have much smaller molecules that actually penetrate the scalp rather than sitting on top of it. Argan oil in particular has been studied extensively, and researchers at Johns Hopkins University found that it provides moisture without the heavy occlusive effect. Use it sparingly, just a few drops on your fingertips, massage it gently into your scalp once or twice a week, and you'll get hydration without suffocation. But don't click away yet, because the second oil we need to talk about is even more common in American households, and the damage it causes happens faster than you might think. The second oil creating problems for aging scalps is mineral oil, and this one is hidden in so many products that you might not even realize you're using it. Mineral oil is a petroleum byproduct, and it's incredibly cheap to manufacture, which is why it shows up in countless hair products marketed to mature women. You'll find it in hot oil treatments, hair serums, leave-in conditioners, and even some shampoos designed for dry hair. The problem with mineral oil on a scalp over 50 is that it creates an impermeable film. Think of it like wrapping your scalp in plastic wrap. Nothing gets in and nothing gets out. Your scalp needs to breathe, it needs to shed dead skin cells naturally, and it needs to maintain a balanced moisture level. When you coat it with mineral oil, you disrupt all of these processes. U.S. dermatologists frequently encounter older women who complain of an itchy, flaky scalp despite using products that promise moisture. When they examine these patients, they often find a buildup of mineral oil that's been accumulating for months or even years. This buildup not only prevents your scalp from functioning normally, but it also creates an environment where yeast and bacteria thrive. That leads to dandruff, inflammation, and eventually hair loss. Studies from the American Academy of Dermatology have documented that mineral oil offers no real benefit to aging hair or scalp health because it doesn't actually moisturize, it just sits on the surface and creates the illusion of hydration. European dermatologists have been moving away from recommending mineral oil for years, and American doctors are finally catching up. So what should you do instead? Look for products that contain jojoba oil or squalane. Jojoba oil is unique because its molecular structure is very similar to the sebum your scalp produces naturally, which means your skin recognizes it and accepts it. Squalane, which is derived from olives or sugarcane, is lightweight, non-comedogenic, and actually penetrates the scalp to provide real moisture. Researchers at Stanford University have documented that squalane helps maintain scalp barrier function without creating buildup. When you're shopping for hair products, flip the bottle over and read the ingredient list. If you see mineral oil, petrolatum, or paraffinum liquidum listed in the first 5 ingredients, put it back on the shelf. Your scalp will thank you. Now you might be thinking you've dodged these first 2 oils, but what I'm about to share next is something that almost every woman over 50 has in her bathroom right now, and it's causing damage in a way that's particularly sneaky. The third oil that's backfiring on mature scalps is castor oil. And this one might genuinely shock you because castor oil has been recommended for hair growth for generations. Your grandmother probably used it, your mother probably used it, and you've probably been using it too. But here's what doctors in the United States are discovering. Castor oil is incredibly thick and viscous, almost sticky, and on a scalp that's already producing less natural oil, it creates a problem that's hard to reverse. The thickness of castor oil makes it extremely difficult to wash out, especially for women who don't wash their hair frequently because they're trying to avoid stripping what little natural oil they have left. What ends up happening is that castor oil accumulates on the scalp over time, coating the follicles, mixing with dead skin cells, and creating a paste-like substance that actually hardens around the hair shaft. U.S. dermatologists call this product buildup. And in older women, it's particularly problematic because the scalp's ability to naturally exfoliate decreases with age. When your follicles are coated in this thick residue, they can't breathe. They can't absorb nutrients from topical treatments, and they certainly can't produce healthy hair. Research from the University of Pennsylvania Medical School has shown that while castor oil contains ricinoleic acid, which has anti-inflammatory properties, the benefits are completely negated when the oil cannot be properly removed and instead causes occlusion and bacterial overgrowth. Women often come into dermatology offices across